Hi family, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. I'm OYOKO, but you could call me V. I want to share some views or some of my views on friendships after watching several videos on adult friendships. And I found myself reviewing my own. So here I am recording this video. I want to explore if there can be a balance between solitude and having a healthy social life. Most of my current friendships came about during my early to mid-20s, and it happened around stages of transition. So when I moved into a new place, when I graduated, when I got a new job, when I decided to move to a new country, I was exposed to new people, potentially new friends. So I started to socialize more, etc. And even in my home country, so I grew up in the Netherlands, I was always in predominantly white spaces. And even in those spaces, I gravitated more towards people of color, because there weren't many Black people around. So I had a really nice, I had a mixture of like multi-ethnic friends, and obviously also white friends, but I gravitated more towards them because I felt like they would understand my experience. Even growing up being almost the only Black girl in school, was sometimes like, okay, it is what it is. Okay, so this takes me to my next point. I was watching a video by a professor who was explaining the 3 types of friendships by Aristotle. So according to the philosopher, you have friendships based on utility, so how useful this friend is, or how useful you can be to the friend. Friendships based on pleasure, and friendships based on, I think, virtue or virtuous character. I think that's what it is. I'll make sure to put the video in the description so you can go and watch it. But reviewing my friendships, I guess going through different stages in my life, the friends that I made during, university, university, were mostly friendships based on utility. There are some people that I still have, contact with, because we went past the utility stage. After we graduated, after we went our separate ways, we still sought to, be in contact with one another, I guess because of the company, the pleasure of being around each other and exchanging information, all that stuff. Most people that I am friends with now are people that I met during university or around that time, and people that I met here when I moved to the UK. Since everything was new and I wanted to make new connections and have new experiences and create new memories with new people. So I guess that's something that I realized after watching that video. And I think the last one was friendships based on virtuous character, or being around someone because they have a good character and that you like that. There is respect and admiration for that person. I've developed those friendships throughout my university years, and people that I've met through other activities that I did outside of university. So there's another video on YouTube by Mel Robbins where she explains that you have friendships for a reason. So you contact those friends for a specific reason. You have friendships for good, for a lifetime. Those people will be the first ones that you will contact. And then you had friendships for a season. So it'll be like a short period that you will interact with these people, probably very actively, and then after it's done. I thought that one was also quite interesting, quite insightful, so I'll link that one there as well. So I wanted to go into this other topic, sharing memorable moments with people that are very dear to you, so having a very strong connection with these individuals. I have these moments with certain people and I will never forget them, like ever. They have a special place in my heart, in my mind, but I don't think having these specific moments with certain people is a great formula, or is the formula of having a long-lasting, healthy relationship. We go through different stages of our lives, and certain people are there, and then after you part ways. It doesn't mean that you have to force having this connection when it's no longer there, simply because you share certain moments with one another. I have come to realize that not everyone is equipped to love you the ways that you desire. And I've learned that the hard way. Maybe you move into a new place, or you leave a country, you go and explore and travel for a year, whatever it is. You come back and the dynamic has changed. The connection doesn't feel as strong anymore, but you still expect the same behavior, the same attitudes from this individual. And I think in my experience, I've done the same thing, where I expected the same energy or even more, because we have been friends for such a long time. It is unreasonable. It is unfair in most cases, because maybe you need a different type of loving. Maybe you need a different type of affection, intimacy, or a different way of communication. But there is a lack of communication, or there's a lack in expressing this to this other person, because you've been friends for such a long time. They should know. We cannot expect people to know how to now love you differently, or show appreciation differently. And I've been there myself. I expected certain friends to know what to do, or what to say, or when to call, and it didn't work out. I had a group of people that I actively, engaged with. I had a few people here and there, but still, we spoke on a regular basis. And then I decided, I'm going to leave this country. I don't want to be here anymore. I'm going to go somewhere else and explore and chase my dreams. And I won't be able to do that here. And obviously, none of my friends wanted to move with me. So I went on my own. Being in a different country made me realize that I needed a different way of communicating with my friends who were all still in the Netherlands. I needed more emotional input, because I couldn't be there physically anymore. I couldn't go to their house and say, let's go and hang out, or let's go to this, let's go shopping, or whatever. I couldn't do that anymore, because physically it wasn't possible. So I needed a different type of emotional commitment from them. And I expected that, which is something that now looking back, I could have done that differently. I could have handled it differently. I could have communicated that probably more often. Not to say that I didn't reach out, or didn't put any efforts in trying to make this sustainable. I did, but I expected a different type of behavior from them, without actually telling them, I want you to do this, this, and this, because I feel alone sometimes, because I'm still figuring out how this new London life is going to be like. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, not everyone is equipped to adapt and suddenly change the way they love you, or the way they show appreciation and their love to you, based on your circumstances, based on how things have changed for you. And that is something that I have realized now, that I could have done certain things better, but also they could have done certain things better. But anyway, we're not going to dive deep into that, but I just wanted to mention that. Another thing is friendship breakups, silent friendship breakups. I had my fair share. And what I mean by silent is that communication started to lessen. We wouldn't text as much, or we wouldn't call as much. We would call or just contact altogether on certain days. So like when there is a birthday or there was something happening, that's when we would contact each other. But it went from that to slowly nothing. You can be friendly with people and have a nice time, but that does not mean that those people are your friends. Even if they were friends before, they can easily turn into someone that you used to know. One of the questions that I ask myself is if I am in good company and I'm on my own. And I know that I am. I like to be alone. I enjoy being by myself. I like to explore things. So when I do want to explore, I go to do things by myself. And I realized that when I moved to London, I had moments of being lonely. Because I left everyone behind. No one really knew what I was going through. Didn't really have money to cover for deposits, and yeah, it was a whole mess. I was fully unprepared, and I had moments of doubt that like maybe I should just go back home because I don't want to feel like this. I don't want to feel lonely. I want to be around friends, be around family, and I had moments of homesickness. I sometimes do. I sometimes still have moments of homesickness. But overall, I do like to be alone. I like to be with friends. But then when I had my fair share of connecting with people, being social and all that stuff, I like to come home and be by myself. So I love my company. I'm in very good company when I'm on my own. I guess my answer to my question, if there can be a balance between solitude and having a healthy social life, yes, that is possible. That can exist. The two can coexist. You can have times off where you do not want to be reachable, because I don't want people to have instant access to me. If I want to be unreachable, then that is what I want, because I want to be by myself. I want to be by myself. I want to hear myself think. I want to do things for myself, and not be invested in other people's feelings, emotions, their experiences, their drama, all that stuff. I do not have capacity to hold space for you, because I'm trying to hold space for me. So I guess solitude in that sense is not harmful if you start to realize that you are developing these negative emotions, simply because you don't have other people around you. You need to be in connection with someone all the time. I guess that becomes alarming. You're actively avoiding being on your own. I guess that also ties into people trying to give their all into others, or give their all into work or studies or love, being so consumed by other people's work or drama, or all the things that I mentioned above, because otherwise you'll be left by yourself, and being by yourself frightens you. And I don't think that's a good place to be, because then you don't want to force yourself to be on your own. You don't want to force solitude onto yourself, because that can become harmful, I think. And it also, which is actually fascinating, is because I'm just thinking about this, maybe people who have difficulty being alone are in desperate need for others to give them meaning, for others to say, this is how important you are, because you are unable to see that yourself. You are important, but if you feel like you're worthless, and being alone is immediately associated with being abandoned or being unworthy or whatever, then I guess there's like an underlying problem there. Childhood traumas that are unresolved. I am not a therapist. I am not a psychologist, none of that. But this is me just thinking out loud, that I guess I can see or understand why some people just lose themselves in others, or lose themselves in work or in love, or, because it's almost like you being productive or you being of service to others gives you meaning, makes you feel worthy, makes you feel important. Being disconnected from that, being disconnected from people will make you feel miserable, because on your own, you cannot be all of these things, if that makes sense. Yeah. I feel like it's a societal problem, especially with social media and everyone being connected more than ever. I feel like more people feel alone or experience loneliness, especially in large cities like London. There are many people that feel alone and don't know where to go or like meet new friends, or and it's hard to make new friends when you're an adult. Many people have their inner circle, that tight circle, and then don't want to allow new people in or are scared to be vulnerable. So yeah, it's not easy at all. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, you're the problem. I don't think that that's the case. I think it's hard. But yeah, it's definitely a societal problem. It's definitely an issue that many people face. It's definitely an issue that many people face, and I think I don't know how that will be solved. I don't know the solution. I don't know what the solution would be. Okay, so I have to wrap up the video because I've been filming way too long and my phone died. So I was terrified that I needed to re-record my entire video, but thank God that the video is still in my gallery. So I'm really, really happy about that. But I think I addressed all the things that I wanted to say. Being in good company, being in solitude is essentially shedding yourself, unlayering yourself, exploring thyself, but also understanding what the root cause is when you do have negative emotions, when they constantly or consistently arise when you are completely by yourself, when you are disconnected from everyone. I guess that's something to explore. People have different experiences. This is my experience. I love being by myself, but I also like to be amongst people. And usually the desire to be by myself grows stronger when I had loads of interactions with people. And then I just wanted to just be quiet and still and not connect with other people anymore for maybe a couple of hours, couple of days, who knows? But yeah, it's just finding a balance. So I guess there can be a balance between you being in solitude and having a healthy social life and not be overstimulated, because that's the thing that I have. I don't want to be overstimulated. But I guess my conclusion is it is possible. I have a few articles that I will link in the description because I thought they were very interesting reads, some of them quite fascinating. I found a paper on loneliness. If you want a more philosophical take on loneliness, there's a paper that was published in 1995, and I think it's titled An Existential Perspective. Quite technical in some ways, like loads of words. I'm like, oh, why do you need to use these words? It's making it so long-winded. But anyway, if you want to read it, I'll put it in the description. There are a few other ones. Let me check. So you have the 4 types of loneliness and how to beat them. Thought that one was a quite fascinating read. What was the other one? The psychological benefits of being alone. Thought that one was really interesting as well. There's a video on the psychology of solitude. Highly recommend that. Great video. I enjoyed all of these sources. It helped me collect my thoughts on how I wanted to approach this topic before recording this video. So if you wanna check it, I highly recommend it. So this is the end of the video. I have been rambling a lot. So I hope you will be able to, keep your attention. If you're at the end of the video, then thank you so much. You made it. You have accomplished the mission. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of the articles, the entire video, what your thoughts are. Let me know if you are in good company when you're alone, if you enjoy being alone. So I guess that's it. I hope you are well. I hope you go well. I hope you stay well. And I will see you in the next video. Deuces.